Yeah, 1974, when I went to Albany. Albany's a nice prison, man. I liked Albany. It was a good prison, but there was a lot of hard men there, Albany. Some really good fighters. And when they put me onto C Wing, I made friends with a guy called Peter Kelly. There was a lot of nice people, but a lot of nasty people in there. There was a lot of my mates was in there as well, that I was away with other prisons with before. They all sort of you all sort of get together again, didn't it, after such a long time. And anyway, I started using the gym. I loved the gym, man. I was always in the gym as much as I could possibly be. If I could be in there all day and all night, I would do, yeah. But I was training, I was on the bag. And Sam McCarthy, good fighter Sam, he learnt me a lot on the bag. They had a cloth bag there. It wasn't like not a cloth. It was like it wasn't leather. It was another sort of material, like a canvas sort of material. And I smashed this bag to pieces. You're on about people putting a fish through the bag. I put my fish through half the bag. I swear to God. And, Sam McCarthy couldn't believe it. He said, mate, you cannot bang. And he gave me a cheer up, and I was always on the bag. I was always on the other. I got another bag out, and I was always on that bag too. And I just loved fighting. I used to fight. I've had about 8 fights in all in prison, and I bashed everybody up in there. I didn't muck about no one. I wasn't fighting anybody. I was a young kid, big powerful fella. Didn't care, mate. Fight anybody, and there were some dangerous people in there. I mean, when I say fight anybody, there was people walking about there, mate. They would just stab you up. Eyes are winking, just plot up on you and whoop, 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 and do you with the sugar and the hot water. But other than that, there was nobody really bothered me as far as fighting was concerned. I've seen a few people done with the hot water and the sugar. My mate, my mate Togi, there's a lot of people say bad things about my mate Togi, but at that time, I didn't know anything, and he hadn't done any damage at that time. But anyway, he was with a guy called Dave Potter. There was a few people with him at that time, and Togi Ludler was a very, very dangerous guy in prison. He was one of them ones he's one of the ones with the hot water and the sugar and blades come and do you and all that sort of thing. But whilst I was in there, and I had a bit of trouble, I got moved to Chelmsford Prison, yeah. When I was in Chelmsford Prison, I got to hear about some names, and I wanted to get into this prize fighting, this unlicensed fighting. I really wanted it so bad. I was always training, getting big, powerful, man. I could walk through anybody. Literally, I could walk through anybody. Literally, I could really put it together. I was just so powerful, and I thought to me, that's prize unlicensed fighting is the thing I want to do. When I was in Albany, I heard about this guy called Roy Shaw, and I heard about this guy. He used to take doors off, and I thought, God, hold up, this geezer's phenomenally strong to take a door off. You know what I mean? A prison door. You've got to be so powerful. And I got to know more stories about him, the people that he's bashed up, and he was the governor of this, the governor of that, and he was a very dangerous man, and very quiet but very dangerous, and could really, really march on. And I got to hear that he didn't take the doors off, actually rip them off, but what he used to put a book down there and rip the doors off. Once he put the board under there, it click and he just rip all the hinges off. And to do that, you've got to be phenomenally strong. And he was a very powerful man, Roy Shaw. And then I got to hear about Joey Pyle. Joey Pyle was a good professional fighter, Joe. Met a guy in Albany by the name of Mickey Francis. Mickey Francis was talking about Joey Pyle because Mickey Francis was one of his henchmen. Mickey Francis worked with me when I got out of Albany, but Mickey Francis was always, me and him was always together talking about Joey Pyle and this, that and the other. Mickey Francis was on another wing to me. I think he was on A wing, but I was still meeting me in the gym, and we used to walk around the exercise yards together. And he used to tell me about Joe Pole, Alex Steen, and all that lot, and the unlicensed fighting. And he was talking about they want to get Roy Shaw to fight Donny Adams when he's eventually released, and all that, And I was going, yeah, that's what I want to do. when I want to get released, I want to fight everybody there is to fight. I ain't fighting no one. All this unlicensed fighting, yeah, I'd beat anybody. You know, I was an animal, you know. So anyway, so I got to hear more about Ronnie Bender was in there. Ronnie Bender, I got to hear from Ronnie Bender that his brother Ray Bender was involved with Alex Steen, a guy called Alex Steen, and Alex Steen was involved with Joe Pyle, and it was all involved with his boxing, unlicensed fighting. And I said to Ronnie Bender, look, get hold of your brother, I want to get into this unlicensed fighting. Well, he did do, and when I come out of prison, it wasn't whilst I was in prison, it wasn't, it was after the chances, after the scrubs, and I got released and that and the other. It was like, when I started going down the Beckett, and I started having a couple of unlicensed fights, that is the time I met Joe Pyle. I met Joe Pyle in Twickenham, in a club in Twickenham, and I met Alex Steen in that club in Twickenham. And through me meeting Alex Steen and talking to Alex Steen and Joe Pyle, I also met Ray Bender, Ronnie Bender's brother. And they all got together, and I was going to start fighting with Joe Pyle and Alex Steen and Ray Bender. But I was in Lewisham. I got involved with Jimmy Tibbett, so I decided to stay with him. Do you know what? It's madness, you know, because the amount of fights that I had as an unlicensed fighter. I mean, even when I was in prison, the amount of fights I had in prison. I mean, it seems strange. That no one's really said anything about me, whether or not they're all dead. All the ones I was in Albany with prison then are all dead. You know, like there's a load. You know, there's a load of people that I was in there with that are all dead now. You know, been shot. Or, you know, just died of old age or whatever it is. You know, and you know, Farney Pope knows me really well. Knows what I was like. I wish he was alive, Farney Pope. I mean, me and Farney used to talk a lot, and Farney Pope he didn't like all these bully tactics. I mean, they were dangerous people, Farney Pope, and that little firm, mate, that was dangerous. And you had my other mate in there, Tommy Green. I mean, he done some terrible things, Tommy Green, but I don't want to really mention the guy's name that he cut up and tortured, because it's not for me to do that. I've done it once and it upset the people that it happened to. But Tommy Green come from my manor. He come from Acton. Tommy Green, Freddie Green, and that little firm, and Jackie Lanes and all them. There was very nasty people. You know, they chop you up, cut you up. But he did do it. He proved what he's like because he done it. You know. But I was to run around with him at the exercise yard in Albany on the green, and all Laurie Manns and all them sort of people, Lowell Gibbonses, Peter Kellys, and all them sort of people around that time. You know, I just was fighting anybody and everybody. I had a lot of respect. Anybody that wanted to be bashed up, I'll push forward. It was my job, and that's what I did. And anyway, then I got chucked out and bits and pieces like that, and I eventually come back to Albany, where I met a person that didn't like me. Got mugged off a few times around the exercise yard. I got laughed at by lots of people at that time. The geezer's not an idiot, but he did get laughed about a bit. And he comes from Bermondsey. He used to knock about a guy called Teddy Williams, Big Ted, Tall Ted. He used to drive around with a Rolls Royce. Big Teddy Williams, all that lot from the Gold Bullion, all that. He used to knock about all them. And it's Dennis Mulligan. He just wanted his revenge on me for what I'd done, you know. Me and him had a row in Albany, and Dennis Mulligan come a bit heavy with me. He threatened me with something, and I bashed him up. I knocked him out he was out for about 20 minutes. I ain't joking. We thought he was dead, you know. But he got his own back on me because they tried the hardest in Albany. I think it was the 80s, 83s, 84s, can't remember now. I think Pat was there, Pat Adams was there, I can't remember, the old memory goes a little bit. But Dennis Mulligan, he set about me with about 4 or 5 people, and they hit me with garden rakes, garden forks, shovels, pickaxes, everything. They smashed me to pieces, cut me up bad. I was in hospital for 2 weeks. At that time, the cameras, I don't think the cameras would work. The cameras wasn't on it or whatever it was, but I was left on the path, pouring with blood from my head, from my body, from my legs, everywhere. And they took me to the hospital on the Isle of Wight, and then they took me back to the wing, and I stayed in there. But I'm surprised they never took me to Parkhurst, but they put me back in Albany. And then something happened, and we all got shipped out. But Mulligan was shipped out well before me. There must have been suspicions about Mulligan, and a lot of people got shipped out. Mulligan was in Wandsworth. I also got shipped out to Wandsworth, big time. But I was in a bad way, when Mulligan stabbed me up and done me in with his mates. They tried to kill me. They nearly did. But when I went to Wandsworth, I was on the ones, and a screw got hold of me from years back and said, "Do you want a job, Billy?" I went, "What sort of job?" "Don't be selling hot plate." I said, "Yeah, I wouldn't mind that job with them, Governor." He said, "You clean downstairs." He said, he said, "Yeah." He said, "Look, I'm going to give you a single cell." And they give me a single cell, and I loved it, man. And one day, I'm on there, dishing out, I think I was dishing out a tea. And Mulligan, who come boy? Mulligan. Dennis Mulligan, who nearly killed me, And I thought to myself, hello, Dan. You know what I mean? Because don't get up, just been shanghaied. I knew that he'd been shanghaied, and I'd been shanghaied. And I looked at him and I thought, all right, Dan, how you going, mate? And he looked at me laughing, giggling, because what they'd done to me. And I thought, yeah, mate, you're on the wing, you're on this wing, and you ain't getting away from here, boy. You know what I mean? And I think Billy Williams was there then. I think Bill was on the freeze, because me and Bill become pals in there. But anyway, it's nothing to do with Bill. I kept this well out. I want to control this myself. I don't need anybody else, Billy Williams, anybody else to do my dirty work for me. I do my own fucking dirty work, yeah. So I'm in Albany, I'm in Wandsworth. I'm up on the ones with another guy called Ben Najumi. He's there at that time. And I'm doing something. Ben Najumi is number one in that wing. He's giving me some Mars bars and some bounties and some topics and stuff. I'm taking it down, but as I'm taking it, I'm looking over the landing, and I noticed Dennis Mulligan, they got recreation, yeah? So they were out, so I'm looking at Dennis Mulligan, and I thought, yes, mate, this is my time. And it was like something up there. Karma, mate. It come and it hit Mulligan. Mulligan was the worst thing that he ever did. Karma come across, mate. And what happened, I see him walk in the toilet, Dennis Mulligan, and I thought, what is my time? And I followed him in the toilet, and he was at the urinal, and I walked to the urinal. I was standing about, I don't know, a foot maybe from him, and he looked at me, he smiled. Once he smiled, mate, he turned around and smiled at me, mate. It was like, I become King Kong. Mate. I hit him so hard. I've never hit anybody that hard in my life before, yeah? It sent shockwaves up my arm, and the geezer, it makes me angry now to think about it. I was, because he tried to kill me, he tried to do me, you know what I mean, bad, you know? And it's, to think, you know, and I mean, I was in a bad way for 2 weeks. And to be bad way for 2 weeks in hospital, in prison, they don't want to let you go outside, mate. You know what I mean? I'm doing Big Birds. They don't want to let me go outside, and actually because I was real in a bad way. They've done all my ribs, they've done my back, they've done my legs, they've done my shoulders, everything. I was in a bad way. How I pulled out, I don't know. Strength. And when I see him, mate, when I stood there and he turned around and laughed, mate, it was like a piston. I hit him so hard, mate. My fist, when it hit him, it turned his head round on my life, like the Exorcist. He turned his head round, oh, wham! Mate, this geezer hit the floor, mate. He was gone. He was gone. This kid come in, mate, this young kid come in, and he said to me, "Ray, that geezer's there, mate, he's been bullying me for tobacco." I said, "Well, do yourself a favour, do what you got to do." He ain't gonna know who's done it, he won't even feel it, just do what you got to do, yeah? This kid must have broke Dennis Mulligan's teeth, jawbone, eye bone, sockets, everything. He's kicked him all round the gaff. We got out of there. I shot upstairs to see Ben the Jeremy. I sat with Ben the Jeremy, but I was, how can I say, I was pure white. And he said, "What's up?" I said, "Nothing, Ben, nothing." And Ben was Iranian or something. He's funny about it. "Oh, no, what's up?" All right, that sort of thing. I said, "Nothing, I'm sweet, man. I'm sweet." I was pure white, man. And then the alarm bell went off. The alarm, wham! The Albany bell with the rings and everyone's going mad. Everyone's running around, bang up, you know. And Ben said, "Fucking hell, what's going on?" I said, "I don't know." I banged up my single. Listen, I was petrified. I was more petrified than enough because I thought, you know, what happens? What's he going to say? You know what I mean? But it was like I was on the hot plate, and for about 6-7 weeks later, I was on the hot plate. I'm surprised Mulligan come back on that wing, you know. He come down for his liquid diet. I felt like doing him again. I felt like, I don't know, you know, like, I just wanted to I just wanted to hurt this geezer so bad because he tried to kill me, mate. And the pain that I was in, don't forget, I wasn't knocked out, yeah, but I hit the floor. When they done me with all sorts of things across the head and the back and my legs, and you can feel it all going in you and stabbing you and all this, that and the other. And there's not a lot you can do, you know, about it, you know, when you're in a bad way. And I'm looking at him, and all he's got on for his, whatever he did to me, was his face was like all scaffolding up, yeah, all thing, and he and his thing. He had to have liquid diet. You know, his face was, even after all that time he was in hospital, his face was still very puffed up and bits and pieces in it, yeah. But that to me was one of the worst times for me. For getting nearly killed. I've been stabbed up, I've been hit across the head, I've been, you know, 3 or 4 guys set about me in Albany's and other prisons. I've had all that and I've come through it, mate, and I'd have a fight. Listen, I beat 3 geezers, 4 geezers, you know, but I've been hurt by 3 or 4 geezers. You know, doesn't matter about being hurt, you know, as long as you can keep fighting, as long as you don't give up, yeah? You must never give up. You know, once you give up, you've lost the fight, mate. You lost the fight. Even if you lose the fight, you won the fight because you haven't give up, mate. You haven't give up, you know. And I never give up. I just never give up. I never give up, mate. And as I say, you know, Mulligan, I don't know what happened to him. Someone told me he died. I'm not quite sure. Whether or not died later because of the shock of what happened, I don't know. When he got released, I don't know. Things happen, don't it? It's someone, the shock later on does things, yeah. I don't know, but if that was true, about the shocks and all that, I should have been dead weeks later, because believe me, if you're hit by a car, right, sort of like head on, there's not a lot of chance of you surviving. If you get hit by a car from behind the back, and you go up in the air and come down, there's not a lot of chance of you surviving. And what they done to me was that same thing. They'd done it in such a way that they didn't want me to survive. They only stopped, mate. They only stopped when I feel that they see a screw and I had to walk back. Screw maybe coming up the gate, the pathway for the gate, because I was here, and that's the pathway of the gates to the right, about 20 yards, 30 yards down. They about to see a screw coming up, and they thought, leave it, you know. Something sparked it off, you know, where they didn't. I feel if they'd have maybe done it a little bit longer, they'd definitely killed me. Definitely. I can't even remember waking up in hospital or whatever. I can't remember. You know, I was just concussed. I was just in a bad way, you know. And to go back to Albany, and to know that he's been shipped out. But there was a few there that I made myself quite busy after that. There's not a lot I could do. There's not a belief. There's not a lot I could do. Even if Mulligan had been there, there's not a lot I could do. I could have, you know, at that time, my son, being 2 or 3 years of age, could have beat me up. I was just weak. I was just I don't know, defeated. I was just gone, mate. And it took me ages, you know, to get back to the way I was. And, you know, anyway, I eventually did, and I told you we all got shipped out to Wandsworth, and he was there, and I done what I had to do. But I didn't. Why he had to do that? The hate he had, the hate he had to do that to me. Why? I just can't make out why. There's no sense. There seems to be no sense in it. You know what I mean? That he had to do that because the people I was with, the Farney Popes, the Peter Kellys, the Lord Tony Lawrences, the Lowell Mann and all that lot, you know. Why? Because Tommy Greens and all these sort of people that I'm walking around with, why has he got the hump with it? Why? I wonder why, you know. It don't make no sense. It doesn't make no sense why. You know what I mean? Anyway, but anyway, so that's beside the point. It's he done it later on when I come back, you know. Anyway, I'm just talking about Roy Shaw's and Alex Steen's, you know, and Johnny Pyle and Ray Bender and them sort of people when I got out. When I eventually was doing a lot of sparring with Roy Shaw, met Jimmy Tibbett, and then got in, and then me and Lenny McLean just got in the ring, had a bit of sparring around. But you know, like I thought at that time that I was going to be one of the governors that I had 42 prize fights. You know, I won 38, lost 2, drew 2. Yeah, but most of the fights I had were with Dorman. Me and Jimmy Tibbett, we couldn't get many fights. We tried. The fights I had, they were hard fights. People don't want to fight someone that makes things hard for people. Even when I fought Brian Hall, one of my first fights, second fight. And when I fought Brian Hall, I thought I won the fight, but it was a draw. I was just starting then. I was big. But I wouldn't say big. I wasn't that big. I was about 18 stone. Well, I've been training all the time, come out of prison. This skip, train, and lost a lot of weight, but got defined up, yeah. I can bang. I caught him with a lovely left hook, Brian Hall, but that's a bit only bits you see. But I battered it, smashed his face to pieces. Brian Hall, good fighter, mate. Good pro for Brian. And anyway, after that, you know, and seeing Cliff Fields in the dressing room, and him and Lenny McLean having words, and Cliff Fields just throwing him over like a rag doll, as if Lenny McLean weighed about 9 stone. Do you know what? When I look back on it, Lenny, I've got a lot of respect for Lenny McLean because of what he did. I mean, you know, he just, at that time, you know, it's like, when you see these people today on the media, they're all shouting about this and shouting about that, and getting everything because of the media. People, all Joe Public thinks to know about it, but in them times there wasn't none of that, yeah. And it was just Roy Shaw, Lenny McLean, Donny Adams, Cliff Fields, and Johnny Waldron, you know, and others, me, Ray Hill, and what is it? I've got so many names in my head I can't even get them together. They were all going round and round and round. Loads of fighters, loads of Lloyd Roytham, loads of fighters. People, there's so many fighters at that time. If you watch the video called Box On with do you know what? It does my head in, mate. I get all mixed up with names and all that, you know. Anyway, if you look at Box On video and see Lenny fight, Lenny don't fight, but you see him as a compare there, yeah. And I mean, Joe Paul was there, but I don't think Shorey fought on that show. I don't know. He definitely didn't fight on that show. Frankie Warren, that show made him, yeah. That show made him, even though him and Alex Steen, they've cut out the part of Frankie Warren, when Frankie Warren saying, F the boxing board and show, who the heck, you know, they think they are. And they've cut that bit out, but they put it in about Alex Steen. Vic Andretti, when he says it, yeah, Vic Andretti says that, yeah. I like Vic Andretti. Anyway, this is Bang Bang Mail. Please press the like button and subscribe. Nice one. Take care. Bye-bye.